Oh, hi friends. I didn't see you there. Just coming in from a walk with my dear friend Bentley. He's laying down on the floor right now. Today we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to Mr. Reichle's heart. Can you guess what it is? Today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about emotions and different ways that we feel and cope with emotions. I don't know about you, but Mr. Reichle's been feeling a little sad the last few days. It's okay to feel sad. And those kinds of days are okay to have once in a while. But what Mr. Reichle is going to teach you today is how Mr. Reichle can turn those negative emotions into positive emotions. He has 5 things that he likes to do. Can you guess what those 5 things might be? So why don't you join me today in Mr. Reichle's neighborhood as he talks to you guys about the 5 ways he deals with feeling anxiety or sadness. So the first thing Mr. Reichle likes to do when he's feeling a negative emotion is he likes to go out for a run or get some kind of exercise or play any kind of sports. Growing up, Mr. Reichle played a lot of different sports. I played soccer, I played golf, I played hockey, I played fencing. Basically played all the different kinds of sports. And now, as I've gotten older, I really enjoy going out for long runs, taking walks with Bentley, or going into the gym and trying to see what I can do in terms of pushing myself to ways that I've never done before. It's a great way to get the mind off of those negative emotions. It's also good to get a little bit of cardio in and build up those muscles. And it's a healthy exercise to do. This run this morning I went on was a very long run, and I have a hill that I have to climb up trying to get back to my house. And I've had a really hard time trying to climb up that hill. But today, I made it up that hill, and I felt like Rocky climbing up those stairs. I put my hands up in the air, and I threw a little 1-2, and then I kept running. Something silly. I looked kind of silly doing it, but it made me feel good, and it got me out of my negative emotions for the day. So the second thing Mr. Reichle likes to do to get out of those negative emotions and make them positive is he likes to do something creative with music being played in the background. Bet you guys didn't know this, but when Mr. Reichle really focuses and puts his mind to something, he can become really creative. And one way I like to be creative is I like to draw. The other day, my dad wanted a new logo for his company, and I said, "Dad, let me try to draw something." And this is what I came up with. He said he liked it. Mom liked it too, which is nice to hear. I'm not really an artist, but I try my best. The other thing I like to do to be creative is I like to go take photos. I'm a photographer. What's a photographer? It's a person who takes pictures. The other day, I went to a park, and I took some really beautiful photos of the park, and I'm going to post them right now. No matter what Mr. Reichle does, whether it's drawing or taking photos, or recently he's been journaling in his notebook, he always has either his AirPods with him or on, or he's listening to music on his computer. I have playlists for everything. I have a playlist when I go to the gym. I have a playlist when I go for a run. I have a playlist to do photos. I have a playlist just about for anything. Some of the top artists and bands I've been listening to right now are, I'm listening to a lot of Sam Hunt, I'm listening to Kelsey Ballerini because she is my crush, listening to some Newfound Glory, listening to, when I'm going for a run, I'm listening to the Creed 2 soundtrack, or Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. It really just depends on my mood. I listen to everything from classic to rock to grunge to pop punk, country, and a little bit of everything in between. So if you have any good music that you recommend Mr. Reichle to listen to, leave a comment. Number 3 that helps Mr. Reichle get out of negative emotions to positive emotions is he likes to cook. My family, they all can cook. My sister can cook and bake. My mom can cook. My auntie can cook and bake. My grandmother cooks and bakes. I've grown up with a bunch of chefs and bakers my entire life. I have recently started to become a better chef or a better food prepper, cook, whatever you want to call it. And currently right now I'm following along to a cookbook. This cookbook my mom actually gave to me. And it's good because it helps me because I have to follow directions. You can't, when you cook, say, oh, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to add this. Well, you kind of can, but sometimes it doesn't make the meal that you want to cook in the cookbook. It's not going to come out exactly that way. So Mr. Reichle sometimes does that, and sometimes his meals come out great, and other times they don't come out that great. I have a few lists of items that I'm really good at cooking. One thing that I'm really, really good at cooking is pancetta chicken. I've mastered that recipe. I'm like, mwah, it's beautiful. I can also cook the typical burgers, pasta, chicken. I really don't like using the grill. I'm more of like a stovetop and oven kind of man, but that doesn't mean I don't know how to use a grill. Number 4, communicating. This thing isn't just for music, YouTube, or apps. It's actually for talking to people. I don't go a day without talking to my parents. Every night for the last 13 years at 7:56 p.m., I call my mom. It is something that I started back in college. And what I do is I talk to my mom and dad about my day. I tell them some good things, I tell them some bad things, I tell them what I've eaten for dinner, told them that I went to the gym. Really, it's just a check-in to them, but it's also a check-in for me to really make sure I've done the right things for that day. I also, once in a while, I'll call my sister. When I'm at work, I like to go into my friends' classrooms and talk to my coworkers and friends about their day. We've gotten out of talking to people. Communication and having a conversation is actually a skill. I wasn't the best conversationalist or even the best at talking to anybody. It's something that I've learned over time. My dad is a great talker. My dad could talk to anybody and make friends with just about anybody. And I'm starting to get like that, but it's still hard for me once in a while just because, meeting people and taking the first step forward to something that's uncomfortable is just that, uncomfortable. But really try to talk to someone every day. Lately, I've been talking a lot to Bentley. Bentley's a good listener. He's not really a good person to talk, to have a really conversation with because he doesn't talk back. But sometimes a listener is just as good. And my 5th and final thing that I do to get myself from negative emotions to positive emotions is I check in with myself. So as I said in number 4, I call my mom and dad every night, or I talk to my friends, I talk to my sister, I talk to people. But before I put my head on the pillow and I say goodnight, I try to think of positive things that happened during the day. These positive things can be something as simple as I wore my favorite shirt today and I got compliments, to something as more complex as I nailed a dinner recipe, or I had a great day at work because all my kids followed directions, I wrote the perfect email, and everything seemed to fall into place. We have a very hard time thinking of positive things. It's in our human nature to just go straight to the negatives. And we can name off more negative emotions than we can positive emotions. So if you guys started thinking more in a positive light and being in tune with yourself and knowing how to get out of negative emotions and getting into positive emotions will be that much easier for you guys. Now, if that's a hard skill to do, you can also do what Mr. Reichle does every morning on his way to work, is I give thanks for things that I have. And it can be as simple as I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for the warm cup of coffee that I'm drinking on my way to work. Or, if that doesn't work, Mr. Reichle says this every day before he goes into his school. He says, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. I've been saying that for as long as I've been a teacher. And it's something silly I stole from a book and a TV show, but it really means is if you have clear eyes and can see forward, a full heart, you can't lose. No matter what you do, you'll never be able to lose. And if you do lose, that's okay. All failure is just one step closer to success. So there you have it. Those are the 5 things Mr. Reichle does when he's feeling down or low emotionally to get himself up higher emotionally. As I said, it's not an easy thing to do. It's not something that I just learned and did like that. It has actually taken me close to 2 years to get to where I am right now. I believe in all of you guys. This is not an easy discussion to have, but it's something that we should have more of. And if you're feeling super scared or worried or overstressed, that's okay. Just take one step at a time. And remember, clear eyes, full heart, you can't lose. And you always will have me as your biggest supporter along with your family and friends to help guide you. Hope this was helpful. I hope you guys like this video. If you want more of Mr. Reichle's Neighborhood, let me know. In the meantime, keep reading, and I will see you all again tomorrow for Trivia Wednesday.